Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to show you my ideal manufacturing reloading tool for 38 Smith & Wesson, and we're going to be using it to reload some 38 Special, and it will show you the features, what this little tool is capable of, and have you get familiar with it. So this is an all-in-one reloading tool made by the Ideal Manufacturing Company in New Haven, Connecticut. As you can see, it's stamped on there. And this particular tool is for 38 Smith & Wesson or 38 Special, and that's what we're going to be loading up today. This tool gives you all the functions that you would need to reload your black powder 38 Special. And I'll explain a little bit more in detail on why this tool was more intended towards black powder reloading of the 38 Special than it is for black or smokeless powder. I'm going to start from the front up here where the bullet mold is. It's where your single cavity bullet mold is, and it drops the bullets at about 159 grains. And along with your sprue cutter right there. And as you can see, there's a single bullet mold cavity, round nose. And moving on down in these chambers, you have what would be your bullet seating and crimping chamber, which can also be used as a decapping chamber, and I'll show you how that would work here in a second. How this would work is you basically drop in your bullet that's ready to be seated and crimped, close this, and that little hook will grab the case, the rim, and I'm not going to do it right now, but you could continue on and squeeze, and that would cause the bullet to seat and it crimp the case around it, and you'd be good to go. Next chamber here would be your capping feature. So what you would do is you would take a deep primed case, drop it in there, set your primer on top of there, and this little nipple up here would come down and make contact when you close it, and then you just push it and it would seat it in the priming pocket. And the last hole down here would be your bullet resizing feature. So you just set your bullet in there, close this, and that little pivoting rod would push it through, and you'll have a perfectly sized 38 Special bullet. Alright guys, I'm not going to do any casting in this video, but these bullets, I've cast them straight out of my Ideal Manufacturing reloading tool. I've already lubed them and sized them through the same tool. They've been sitting for a few weeks now, that's why they look kind of dingy. But I wanted to show you real quick what the weight is on these. 159, 158.3, 158.8. As you can see, like I said before, they're kind of dingy from sitting around for a few weeks, but hey, I felt like it was time to bring out my Army San Marcos 38 Special revolver and take it out to the range. And what better way to reload some ammo than to reload it with an old-time Ideal reloading tool. So here we go. So like I said, I've already resized these, but to show you the feature to resize them, you just drop them in here, close them, run them through, and they're resized. It's that simple. we'll see what they size to. Uh, 357.5, 357.5, I mean. 357.5 and 357. Okay, so bullets are ready to go. Now what we're going to do is get our brass ready to go. Now, Photoist 46 came up with a brilliant idea, and you got to check out his videos. He's got some great videos on a few of these tools as well. These tools were usually shipped with an original decapping pin to put down in the chamber. Because it comes as a separate deal and they're kind of small, they always get lost. So to find one of these tools with the original decapping pin is pretty rare. Now I'm going to show you what they look like. This is one that I have from my 38 Winchester centerfire. This is an original one. And they would be marked with the caliber that they're designated for, like that one there. You can barely see the 38. It's supposed to say Winchester centerfire, but all you can see is W. But what Photoist 46 discovered is that you can actually take a Lee case trimming guide like this, which are plentiful. You can find them all over the place. You can use these along with these tools as a replacement decapping pin. So all you would do is just drop it in there, put your spent case in there, close it, and pop out the primer right there. So shout out again to Photoist 46 for for sharing that bit of information, because I probably would have never figured that out. Would have been scratching my head and figuring out how to find an original decapping pin, which I would probably never come across ever. It's 2, and that's 3. Also check out Cap and Ball. He's got a really cool video about using an old Ideal tool as well for his 4440. Great video, check him out. Okay, so another feature that this tool has is the cone on the bullet seating and crimping chamber can also be used to bell the mouth of the case. Now what you can do is, you know, push it on there with a bit of an effort, but what I do is I just take a mallet, give it a few whacks, and as you can see it needs a little bit more, but you don't want to overdo it. You want to be careful, because if you go too far, if you overdo it, then you will not be able to insert the cases into the appropriate chambers of the tool. So that one's good to go right there. Also, be sure and do this step right here before you prime the case, because like Photoist 46 says, start whacking it with the primer already in the case, funny things can happen. Well, I think that one I might have went a little too far. So here, I'll show you why you got to be careful. See? You can't get that in there, and if you do, you'll probably get it stuck. So probably gonna throw that case away. Alright, so I'm back with that cases replacement. So what you want to do, whack it like that, and that's why you got to be careful with these. So go a little bit at a time so that you don't ruin your cases. Okay, so moving on to the next step is we're going to prime the cases. So what you do is you drop it into the priming hole, set a primer right on top of it, and close it, and you will see that primer seat into the case. Now when you're doing this, you need to be careful with these tools as well, because this tool here still has a bit of a resistance. So when you close it, it doesn't drop right on the primer, because if that happens, you don't want to drop this thing right on top of the primer, because, you know, again, funny things can happen. It's never happened to me, but that's just something that I'm always weary of and being really careful not to do. And this is really awkward trying to do this through the viewfinder and the camera, so all right. Okay, so we're going to move on to charge the cases with powder. Now I'm using Pyrodex FFG. I know it's not how the Cowboys did it back in the days, but for some weird reason I cannot seem to find any black powder in Arizona. Don't know why. I don't feel like ordering it either, so I'm just over it. I'm going to go with Pyrodex. I'm charging my cases with 25 grains Pyrodex FFG, and what I like to do is give them a little tap at the bottom so that the powder settles. And what I'm using to charge these is a pre-measured cut to right size, what is this? I think it's a 223 case that I soldered a loop of a clothes hanger to. Works really good. Do one more. Alright, moving on to the next step. What we're going to do is go ahead and seat the bullet into the case and crimp it. I'm going to put that into the case, get it started so it doesn't fall off. Put it into the bullet seating and crimping chamber. Go ahead and close it. And that little hook will grab the rim of the case and pull it out. And there you have a loaded round nose 158 grain black powder bullet ready to go. Now, one thing that I was curious about is whether we can use this tool to reload with smokeless powder. And I'm going to tell you, you can do it, but you're going to take a few extra steps to do it. First of all, you need to use different lube. Obviously, you need to use lube that is appropriate for smokeless powder. And there's the last one. Also, what you need to do is you need to resize the cases. You need to run them up through the case sizer. This particular tool, some other tools might be different, but it does not resize the case when it's going into the bullet seating and crimping chamber. Other tools might be different. Mine does not. Just keep that in mind if you do decide to try it. The reason why you need to resize it is because, as you saw, I loaded these with 25 grains of black powder. That loads them to about right there. The bullet, when it's seated onto here, uses the black powder to kind of hold it in place, and then it's crimped up here on the bullet. when you load these with, like, I use 3.5 grains of Hodgkin whenever I do smokeless regular 38 special ammunition. The powder is way down here. What happened was, when I would seat the bullet, it would leave it really, really loose. Kept it in place, but it left it really loose to where I could turn it and move back and forth, and I just did not like that. I didn't trust it. So I ran them through my Lee 38 special resizing die, and then I could use this. Like, let's say I was out at the range and I just wanted to reload them. You could run them through your handheld Lee case resizing die, and then you could use this to finish off the job. So there it is. If you do decide to do that, you can, but you just have to do a few extra steps and also do your research. All this load data that I'm showing here is stuff that works for my weapons. So you do your research and figure out what is right for yours. And like I said, these tools are fun, they're handy, they're cool. It gives you a glimpse into the ammunition of back in the day, of what the standards were. And why would you choose to use one of these? Just for the nostalgia. Same reason that we decide to shoot old guns, old calibers, antique guns, for the same kind of purpose. It's fun. I think reloading should be fun, and this is one way to have a lot of fun. Check out some other videos about these little tools. Like I said, Photos 46 have some great videos, some great pointers and tips, and so does Cap and Ball, and there's a few of them out there. So check them out. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching.